Hey, Gomer here with Hockey Night in Belmont. Got another set of hockey cards in the mail that I bought off eBay. I paid $9 for the cards, but then had to pay $10 for shipping. So the shipping was what killed me. So I paid $19 for a set of hockey cards. I've already opened it. I don't want to show the address. And I've already slit the tape. Little pre-unwrapping. Here we go. It's well protected, so I like that. And they already come in a plastic sleeve, so that saves me the trouble of that. So here we got 27 cards from eBay. These are the greenbacks, 1975-76 season. So these are the 1976 OPC, which is the Montreal's first Stanley Cup of their fourth straight in the 70s, with Lafleur, Dryden, Robinson, and company. Let's go through them. So most notable card here is Billy Smith, goalie for the Islanders, who won 4 Stanley Cups in a row after Montreal did in the 80s. They went to 5 straight Stanley Cup finals, losing the 5th one to the Oilers. Wayne Thomas played with a bunch of teams, including Philadelphia, and ended his career, I believe, in Washington or with the Rangers. I know he was with the Rangers for a year too. Gilles Meloche, he actually had a long career. Starting goaltender for the Oakland Seals, Cleveland Barons, Minnesota North Stars, until he lost his starting job to Don Beaupre. But him and Beaupre had a pretty good tandem for a while. But then he went off to Pittsburgh. He was a really good goaltender who never got to play on any really good teams until the very end of his career. Jerry O'Flaherty, I've never heard of. St. Louis Blues team leader with Chuck Leafley and Gary Unger. Gary Unger used to hold the Ironman record, never missed a game for the longest time, and retired with the Edmonton Oilers in 82 or 83. Richard Nante, who I never heard of, Minnesota. John Bednarski for the Rangers, never heard of him either. Jim Moxey, Cleveland Barons, never heard of him. This is when the Cleveland Barons first started. So you see Gilles Meloche there, he's got the Oakland Seals jersey. This is when the team transferred to Cleveland. So they did that late in the summer. The California Golden Seals had already done the 75 draft, and then the team transferred to Cleveland that summer. So it was very put together. So Jim Moxey's wearing like a practice jersey. So a lot of Cleveland Baron players will either have the Oakland Seals with the team transferred, or they'll have just a white jersey. Ed Westfall, one of the captains of the Islanders. He never got to play for the Stanley Cup teams. He was already an old player and was long gone by then. Next up, we get Dave the Hammer Schultz. This is when he got traded to the LA Kings. He won 2 Stanley Cups with the Flyers and was known to be a really tough guy. So I did see him get beat. I did see Larry Robinson beat the hell out of him in one game. Then we got the New York Islanders team card. Flip that over. This was Brian Trotti's rookie year, and they didn't have Mike Bossy yet. Errol Thompson, Toronto Maple Leafs. I remember him being with the Detroit Red Wings when he retired. Then we got the first All-Star card, Brad Park, first team All-Star. This was his first year with Boston as he came over from the Rangers. He was part of the Esposito trade. That sent Esposito to New York Rangers in exchange for Brad Park and Gene Rattel. Bad trade, I think, on the part of the Rangers, because Esposito was slowing down, but Esposito would lead the Rangers to another Stanley Cup final, while Brad Park would go to 2 Stanley Cup finals with the Bruins. And he's a Hall of Famer. Butch Goring, when he was with the LA Kings. Butch Goring did win 4 Stanley Cups with the Islanders, but he was traded to the Islanders in 79-80 in exchange for Billy Harris and Dave Lewis. Many consider this to be the trade that put the Islanders over the edge and gave them a tough checking line scorer. Walt Tkachuk, New York Rangers. I've heard of him. John Davidson, not a very good goaltender, but he lasted a lot of years with the Rangers and later became a GM. Ross Lonsberry won 2 Stanley Cups with the Flyers. I know he ended his career with the Pittsburgh Penguins. For some reason, the Penguins of the early 80s had a lot of Flyers playing for them. Canucks team leaders, Dennis Ververgent, Chris Olofsson. Penalty minutes, Harold Snep's the ugliest man in the world, according to the Dick Van Dykes. They have a song, the Dick Van Dykes and Ottawa garage punk band. They have a song called Harold Snaps, and they call him ugly as Harold Snaps. Pretty funny. So he was one of the team leaders there. Daryl Sittler's record-breaking game. Most points in a game. This is when he had 10 points. He had 6 goals and 4 assists. And he did it against a very good Boston Bruins team, which makes it even more amazing. This is Boston Bruins with Don Cherry at the helm. The Boston Bruins would go on to 2 Stanley Cup finals, not that year, but the year after, for the next 2 years. So the fact that Sittler did it against a very good team who had a very good defense, remember they had Brad Park as their all-star defenseman, is even more amazing. Phil Russell, defenseman for Chicago. Jean Rattel, he's the other guy who was with the Rangers, who was part of the Esposito trade. He led the Bruins that year in scoring. I believe he had 105 points. Yep, 36 goals, 69 assists for 105 points. So like I said, Sittler didn't beat a bad team like the Washington Capitals that year. He beat a very good team. Gary Dornhofer won 2 cups of the Flyers. I remember the story of Larry Robinson hitting Gary Dornhofer along the boards of the Forum so hard that it dented the boards of the Forum, and they had to get workmen to take out the dent. Then we have the Philadelphia Flyers, their team card. They have the Stanley Cup because they won the Stanley Cup in the 74-75 season, so they used that picture. Even though in 75-76, Montreal won the cup. So they're reusing the picture. The Flyers did go to the final, but they got beat by the Canadiens in 4 straight games. Dave Lewis, Islanders defenseman. He was part of the Butch Goring trade. Later went to the New Jersey Devils. I think he did win a cup as a coach or assistant coach with the Detroit Red Wings, or as an assistant coach. He was there anyway. We have Yves Belanger, St. Louis Blues goalie. Didn't last long in the league, not a very great goalie. Then we have leaders and goals with Reggie, Leach, Guy Lafleur, and Pierre LaRouche. This is a pretty cool card. Reggie Leach had 61 goals. Lafleur had 56, LaRouche and Jean Pronovost, both for Pittsburgh, at 53 and 52 goals respectively. This is before Mario Lemieux wasn't the first Pittsburgh Penguin to score 50 goals. LaRouche and Pronovost had already done it, as well as a guy named Mike Bullard in the early 80s. And I believe Rick Kehoe too. Don Barber and Danny for Philadelphia and Danny Gare for Buffalo also scored 50 goals that year. This is when a lot of guys were hitting 50 goals. Not crazy like the 80s, but definitely in the 70s where sticks were flying high and guys would take whacks at you. You were getting these things. You see footage from that area and you see a lot of stick work. And the last guy on the list is Jerry Butler, right winger from St. Louis. I remember him most being with Toronto and then being part of the Dave Tiger Williams trade that sent Jerry Butler and Tiger Williams to Vancouver in exchange for Rick Vive and Bill Derlago. Bad trade for Vancouver at the time, as Butler didn't play very much longer, and Dave Tiger Williams, after having one really good year with Vancouver, kind of fizzled and bounced around to LA, finished his career in LA, while Vive had a couple of 50-goal seasons, and Derlago was a consistent scorer. But on the other hand, Tiger Williams did go to a Stanley Cup final with Vancouver in 82, where they lost to the Islanders in 4 straight. Vive and Derlago never got to a final. So anyway, those are the cards, 27 cards. Quite happy. I have some of these cards already. I used to have a full set of this back when I was a kid. We also had a poster of this because my dad used to work for a printing place and they would get uncut sheets. OPC contracted these hockey cards to another company to print out. Then the company would print them out, send them to OPC, who would stick the gum in and put them in the wrappers. OPC didn't actually print the cards themselves, so I don't know whatever happened to the master plates, but it'd be interesting to find out. So my dad knew either he worked for that company or he knew somebody. I can't ask him because he's been long dead. And he was always able to get uncut sheets every year. So we'd have these up on our wall for a year and they get ratty by the end. And eventually we even cut them up or they got thrown out. So I used to have this as a full set. I bought a few years ago and now I'm able to work hard. I've worked hard and was able to buy some now. But it's a cool set at a time when hockey cards were fun to have. Now the quality of these cards is pretty good. They range mostly excellent. There's a couple of soft edges here. Now Billy Smith, Brad Park, and Jean Rattel are all in the Hall of Fame, as well as Daryl Sittler. Not sure about Butch Goring. He might be. I'd have to check that one, but I don't think he is. So a couple of Hall of Famers and definitely some guys of notoriety like Dave Schultz, Butch Goring, and Gary Dornhofer. Gary Dornhofer went into commentary after his playing career. So a pretty good collection to start out with, and I have some more coming in the mail and continue to do this for now. Anyway, leave comments in the comment section, like button, subscribe, and until next time, this has been Gomer with Hockey Night in Belmont.
Well, you let me, that's gay, what doesn't make much sense.